So in a second, I will want you to say something. Speak dirty to me. Whoa.
No.
Yes. You do it because I said you do it.
This is not what we're streaming. Hold on 1 second. I gotta go be dad.
Okay, no problem. You do it because I said you do it.
This is not what we're streaming.
All right, well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Militant Casuals Jank Tank 2 game. Tonight we're going to be featuring Jeff Wilder, who was with us in the booth last night, versus the one, the only, the one that all the dice love, Lord Isophane, aka Daniel Lim. And eventually joining me in the booth when he's done murdering a child, probably, will be Tommy Wynn, another one of the founders of Militant Casuals. I'm Ben, also a founder of Militant Casuals. You're back.
I am back.
All right. So I was just saying that you probably had to step away to kill a child. It's fine. And I heard you. Your audio is fine. So Jeff and Daniel are working on their audio issues in their room. So I thought I'd take a minute to talk a little bit about a math discussion that happened in last night's stream. So question came up. You roll 2 dice and you've got 1 force but no other tokens, but a target lock. 2 red dice, and you're firing against 2 or 3 dice, and you roll focus blank. So the question came up, do you save the focus or not? And I will admit I didn't get into the argument because my gut said you reroll both, and you hope that you only, you hope you don't have to spend that force at all because you get lucky on the reroll. In worst case scenario, you roll hit focus or something like that if you're lucky, and boom, you've improved your damage. Rick and Jeff, who were with me in the booth last night, disagreed on the math behind that. And we also had some disagreement in chat about the math behind that. So what I thought I would do is, after the fact, I directed, Jeff, who had been leading the math discussion, to go take a look at the feedback that was going on in chat. And I wanted to just briefly say that whereas last night the argument was that you don't re-roll the focus because you're going to be able to spend the focus, the force on it if you need to. The math supports, generally speaking, re-rolling both dice. Yep, we hear you.
Okay, so my voice is coming in?
Yeah, we hear you fine.
Okay.
Suggested Jeff that he close Discord and launch it again.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah. It also looks like Jeff has himself muted and has silenced the voice channel from what I can see.
Yeah.
Right. I could hear him, but he can't hear me.
Yeah. Yeah. When I've had Daniel, I don't know if you left or not already, but when I've had that problem of not being able to hear, I usually just quit Discord and start it up again, and usually everything is okay.
So yeah, Rick, Jeff, and I actually continued the discussion after everybody went to bed last night, and so based on the rerolls or between 1 or 2, I think what we said was it's actually the same. You do get if you're aiming for crits,
right,
then reroll both. If you just want to punch through damage and you have no other reason, we can re-roll the 1, but the math says it's just like taking a focus or a target lock during like a 3-die attack. The odds are about the same.
Yeah, so here's the math that was described by Jeff after the fact in a comment on last night's video. So rerolling the blank will give you a better result 50% of the time, right? Because there's 3 hits and a crit on that dice. In the other case, rerolling both dice again, you want to know the odds of the roll getting better. So start with rolling 2 hits, that's like a 25% chance, 0.5 times 0.5. Then you figure out what else can be better, and it turns out it's only either focus hit or focus crit or hit focus / crit focus, right? Depending, treating each die as a separate entity. And those together give you a 25% odds. So it turns out in that case, the odds of improving are the same whether you reroll one die or both. So then you have other factors, like you have a chance to roll a crit. You should probably take that chance, right? You might have cases where you actually don't want to reroll because you don't want to roll a crit. You want a lower chance to do that. Say if you're firing against Soulless One. You don't want to reroll the focus when one damage is all you need to potentially get to half damage or killing a ship, or if the target has hull breach. And you always want to reroll both if one damage won't have a meaningful effect, but 2 damage will. Now, I've always felt for myself that rerolling is the right call if you have force. I tend to take target locks almost exclusively with my Jedi. For that very reason, right? I don't want to spend the force, so I want to re-roll all the dice I can and hope that I will improve the roll. That might not be mathematically supported, but it's what I do. So, yeah.
The math says 90% of the time you're fine.
Yeah. Yep. Now, typically, I have more than one focus or more than one force as well, and I think that ups the odds that you want to reroll. But I don't honestly know, and I just wanted to come back to that in case people had listened to Rick and Jeff kind of bumble fouché their way through the math. Anyway, and
the key point,
yeah, go ahead.
And the key point to take away is not that either one of them was right, but they were both wrong.
Which Tommy wants to make sure is stated out loud because Rick was involved in the conversation. So,
all right, I'm gonna pop into their room and see if I can assist with their audio troubleshooting.
Okay, no problem. So I'll just go ahead and bounce back now to our intro again, since we have some more viewers jumping in. So I'm Ben. I'm the TO for this Jank Tank tournament, and the main streamer. I run our Militant Casuals channel, and tonight we're broadcasting another game from our second round of our round robin pods. So tonight's game is between Jeff Wilder, who's running a Galactic Empire list, with Ved Foslow in a TIE Advanced, Merrick Steele also in a TIE Advanced but with cluster missiles, Major Vermeil in a TIE Reaper, and funnily enough, the pointiest ship in the list, meaning the most expensive ship in the list, a Captain Jonas TIE Bomber with both advanced proton torpedoes and ion bombs. Ved comes in at 44, Merrick comes in at 50, Vermeil is right there at 49, but Captain Jonas is 57. Opposing him is Daniel, who won his first game in just an amazing matchup versus Sir Wolf about 2 weeks ago. I highly recommend, if you haven't watched that stream, you go back and watch those two excellent players just dance around each other, and that game went more or less down to the wire. Daniel's list, which was drafted very late in the draft, as was Sir Wolf's, is a Jedi Knight with Delta 7B title and chopper. It's good old bow 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 bow. 2 Red Squadron bombers, one of which has an ion cannon turret, plasma torps, and synchronized console, and a second which has R2A6 and cluster mines. So 1 ion cannon control bomber and 1 actual bomber. And then Ahsoka Tano with calibrated laser targeting. And Ahsoka came up pretty big in that last game, dancing around as sort of a wild card, and threatening to do bad things to the scum list that Sir Wolf was flying. And of course, with me in today's to broadcast today's game is another founder of the Militant Casuals, the one who really forced this all to happen by making us T-shirts. Tommy Wynn. Tommy, are you back?
I'm back.
Hi.
So, rules question.
Yes.
So, for Jeff's list, he has Ved, and Ved Foslow is a ship that can change the speed of a maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
Can Ved Foslow do a maneuver that's not on the dial? For example, you dial a 2 turn in. Can you do a white 1 turn instead?
Let me take a look at the card.
I'll read it to you. So while you execute,
go ahead.
You may execute a maneuver of the same bearing and difficulty of a speed 1 higher or lower instead. Doesn't reference it have to
Yeah.
have that it has to be on the dial.
Correct. So he can do lower or higher without it being on the dial.
So he can do like a 2 talent roll or a 5K or 3K, but
Yes.
still be red, obviously.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Jeff was thinking that he couldn't do that, so
Yep.
I thought it was stronger than that.
Yeah, it is. It's
All right.
very, very. I mean, it's good. Yes.
Yep, especially considering I have I2s and I3s and his I4. Oof, oh boy.
Daniel, you sound scared.
Stop trying to stay in the streaming booth. This is the only reason Daniel's really here. He doesn't really have a rules question.
Yeah, I was just, my excuse to come in here and just mess with you guys.
You miss us. It's fine. We get it.
I know. Work's been tough lately, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah. The world is a difficult place right now, which is why we're here on a Friday night streaming X-Wing.
Oh, you know what I'm missing? I'm missing an adult beverage.
I have my adult beverage. So tonight's stream is brought to you by Monkless Belgian Triple, which has been a go-to for me on our streams. Last night I did a Claim 52 Kolsch, which was excellent. I could have done that again tonight, but I decided to go with something slightly heavier. So yeah, if you've got to go get yourself a beer, feel free, Tommy. I will keep things going. So
right, cocktail time.
Yeah, go for it. All right. So as we look at these two lists, I'm going to just bring up the list really quickly. So Daniel has pretty low initiatives, 2s and 3s across the board. The Jedi Knight is going to kind of run out front and play sort of a blocker / bully role because, of course, it is a Delta 7B ship, and he's got Chopper. He doesn't want to accidentally have to jam one of his friends. So in the last game, the Jedi Knight and Ahsoka kind of ran together until Ahsoka needed to peel away and be far enough away to not get jammed. And the two Y-Wings sort of stuck together, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that tactic continued. Now, Jeff's list, with Ved Foslo, Merrick Steele, Major Vermeil, and Captain Jonas, every one of Jeff's ships is going to move after every one of Daniel's ships, but they also are a little bit more fragile, as you typically see in an Imperial versus Republic game. So, where Jeff might have a little bit of, provide a little bit of a problem for Daniel, I think is going to primarily be around first arc dodging with Merrick, particularly, and getting in there and sort of just causing a ruckus with Vermeil. But even more so, don't underestimate Captain Jonas and his munitions and his bombs. If he can catch, let's say, for example, both of those Y-Wings with an ion bomb, that could be a real match turner. We did have a question in chat, as Alex asked the question, do you focus or target lock if you have CLT? You target lock because that's another die you get to reroll, in my opinion. Particularly, depending on which of the Jedi you're using. If you've got, Mace or Obi-Wan, it is a clear target lock situation. Though, there are situations where Obi-Wan may instead want to focus if he's got CLT, and if you're running Mace with CLT, then you are a braver man than I am. But yeah, I look at that exercise as just being another one that I get to re-roll first, generally speaking. And by the way, there's very little better than 4 dice from Obi-Wan backed up by 3 Force with that target lock. It's pretty gross if you can bullseye somebody with CLT. Yeah, so we've got both players have chosen to use gas clouds, which is an interesting choice. Neither of them wants to deal with real consequences, though, strain on a Y-Wing is no joke, obviously. Strain on Major Vermeil would make a very sad Vermeil. What'll be interesting to see here is that since Daniel has to obviously set up first, does he set up in 2 different chunks to make Jeff have to sort of respond to that, and also split up into 2 chunks, or potentially bunch up and focus on the Y-Wings, or the Jedi. It sounds like you're back, Tommy, with your drink.
I am back with my beer.
Yeah. So what was going to give you a chance to give your thoughts on the two lists, and so I will shut up and let you talk about them.
I did watch Daniel's last game against Senior Wolf, and that was. You were right. That was a really good game to watch. Definitely made me reconsider Ahsoka a lot more.
Yeah, me too. It made me go, wow. Ahsoka actually seems very good.
And now, the two Y-wings. I mean, you've got the ion cannon turret, which is kind of a nice staple, but those dials are 1.0 Y-wing dials, and they kind of suck.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night with, as you probably know since you watched that stream after the fact. We talked about that with Anakin. That what makes those Y-wings good is really R2 astromech.
Yeah.
Which obviously neither of our players actually has. Keep going though.
So, the Jedi are going to have to carry the list. If Daniel plays the two Red Squadron bombers smartly, then he can get some ion control through one of them, and that cluster mine takes up a whole lot of real estate that the TIE Advanced and the two TIE Advanced and Vermeil probably don't want to go near. The bomber either, since it's got 0 shields. But Jeff's list is actually pretty interesting. I mean, between Ved and Merrick, you've got two pretty decent platforms and pilot abilities. And then Vermeil is kind of a wild card for me because I flew Vermeil last Jank Tank tournament, and I just do not understand that ship. Between TIE Reapers do not make sense to me, but maybe Jeff's got a better handle on it. I mean, the 3 dice and his ability does make him a pretty strong piece to this list, which is 1 in at 5 and 3 in at 4s.
Yeah, I think Vermeil is obviously the Reaper's got a nerf going between 1.0 and 2.0. Vermeil was a menace in 1.0. Vermeil is really good if you can configure Vermeil in a particular way. Like Vermeil with Vader is really, really stupid good, though obviously super pricey at this point. I have found that the best use for the Reapers, even if it is Vermeil, is really just to jam the Reaper in there as a blocker, which obviously is not something you can do in this matchup because Vermeil is going to be moving after everybody else. Well, not after everybody else, but after all of Daniel's list.
Yeah. I mean, that does open Vermeil up to being more of a flanker than a blocker or just obstacle.
Yeah, that's true. And in fact, because it is easily the most maneuverable ship that Jeff actually has, not having any afterburners on his TIE Advances, for example. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jeff kind of run it as exactly that. Set it up sort of, opposite wherever Daniel sets up. And we see Daniel setting up in the bottom corner in a group, basically saying, joust me, you coward, which I think that Jeff will respectfully decline. So I am interested to see how Jeff chooses to try to approach that block. And I'd imagine it's going to be trying to pull Daniel through the gas clouds and also threaten a flank. I wanted to highlight Ahsoka's ability because, I don't think you see Ahsoka on the board very much in other tournaments, which part of the reason why we, run the Jank Tank here. And Ahsoka her ability is after you fully execute a maneuver, you may choose a friendly ship at range 0 to 1 and spend 1 force. That ship may then perform an action even if it is stressed. And so this is what makes Ahsoka and the Jedi Knight such a powerful combination, is with Ahsoka running behind the Jedi Knight, that opens up the Jedi Knight even to basically get an action before slooping or K-turning, or before jamming in there, with a risky move that might end up being blocked. And Daniel used that combination to very, very good effect against Wolf.
Yeah, it's like a combination coordinate what is it? Contraband cybernetics.
Yeah. It's AP5 almost, right? Except it's not a coordinate, and it's a little bit shorter distance. So there is that cost of having to be close. All right, so I think you're right, Tommy. I think we're going to see Major Vermeil go real fast down that edge to try to come in behind, given this setup. Any other predictions you want to throw out there before we start our game?
No, I'm not good at this. Although, I mean, the whole... I might have obliged Daniel with the joust.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's just me.
You're a crazy person.
We determined this already.
Yeah.
But I suspect Jonas would probably do like a 1 or 2 straight. The 2 tie advanced, I would imagine, would be going straight. While if I were Jeff, I'd just be going smaller ships, 1 straights. Tie advanced don't have 2 1 straights, do they?
Let's see. Tie advanced do. They lost, I think.
You lost the 1 hard, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Daniel's definitely going to probably do 1 forward to victory. I mean, that's... Well, never mind.
Nope.
Daniel immediately breaks type, expecting maybe Major Vermeil to go do that flank, and he's turning the Y-wings in that direction. And, it's very possible that the Jedi will do the same.
Jedi banking?
And it'll be interesting to see if he decides to boost.
He's gonna burn Chopper right immediately. Right?
Oh, so yeah, good call there. So Daniel is getting Chopper ready to be a jamming beast, which does mean basically wasting the evade action, and self-stressing. But there's so many horrible things you can do with Chopper that most people do approach using Chopper that way.
It's kind of interesting that the Jedi Knight is kind of out of formation with the other 3 ships.
Yeah, the thing I would say here is that Daniel's not really committed, honestly, to go the long way around, because he could just too hard back if he needs to with everybody. So I think he's basically daring Jeff to commit. And, as you were saying, we shouldn't be shocked to see Jeff go fairly conservative with the ships that can. Obviously, Vermeil is in a little bit of more danger, so I wouldn't be shocked to see Vermeil actually coordinate to get stress just to slow down here. And I also wouldn't be surprised to see Jeff perhaps even do some barrel rolls with the tie advanced, just to keep some distance and force Daniel to commit to looks like he was going to go a little faster with Foslo, and in fact, not only did he decide to go fast, he actually used Foslo's ability to go even faster here. So instead of a 3... oh no, he slowed it down. It was a 5 forward reveal. Sorry, I read that as a 3 forward. Yeah, so he did slow down. That suggests that we're going to see a 1 and a 3 here from Vermeil.
Yep. 3 straight. Coordinate.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the good thing about the position here is it does, particularly if he goes ahead and self-stress, is, even though the Reaper doesn't have a 1 hard anymore, that 2 hard would still fit between the gas clouds if he decides to turn in. And there we have the coordinate and the slowdown, as expected. I don't think he expected Daniel to turn and threaten the long way
Reaper?
round.
Mm.
So he coordinated a barrel roll to give Ved even more distance, and then there's the one forward.
Merrick.
Yep, for good old Merrick.
And you can see Jeff piling up the locks
Yep.
to counter Chopper.
Yep, and not only that, I mean, Daniel did the same thing. So you'll notice that Daniel has locked his own gas clouds on this end, because everybody is anticipating bow, bow, bow as it happens. So
sounds like my death rain will just be blowing stuff up if I ever face Daniel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the bright side, you have bombs, so yeah, blow. That's a really interesting thought, right? Like, do you just blow up the gas cloud that's locked?
I'm not shooting the first round anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Reload.
All right, so we're off to dials for round 2. I wouldn't expect Jeff to really give away too much here, particularly with the guys towards us on the board. I'd be shocked if they go faster than one forward again. Maybe a one bank and a barrel roll to try to go between. If you can see my mouse cursor, these two clouds here, but I don't think you really want to commit to that if you can avoid it. The tough thing for Jeff now is whether he can call Daniel's bluff on whichever way Daniel's going to go. Daniel's go ahead.
Daniel apparently knew where he was going immediately.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing when you've got the beefy list, right?
Yeah.
The beefy list gets to basically do whatever it wants, right? Because the other list has to, the less beefy list, the Imperial list in this case, has to be much more careful, right? So, Daniel doesn't have to go through the gas clouds. And I think that might be something that Jeff, might have wanted to go a little bit slower with the guys on the far end, just to see what Daniel chose to do and give an opportunity to instead hard turn down his end of the board. But
now this might be the vodka speaking.
It's definitely the vodka speaking. Go ahead.
Yes, it is. But do you hard turn Jonas and Merrick down the bottom of the board and then go straight with Ved and Vermeil and kind of split up your forces to try and force? I don't think
I don't think I would have, just because they're not very maneuverable ships. There's not a lot of repositioning you're going to be doing certainly with Captain Jonas, right? So I think you just play that a little bit more conservatively. Now, I think Daniel has decided that what Jeff will do here is turn in with Vermeil and the bomber in sort of a counter to the possible play of him going long. So if Jeff did call that bluff and does go fast again, then he's going to benefit from that. If he instead turns in, which will mean that Vermeil won't have an action, then much less problem for Daniel. I'm actually, I kind of thought that Daniel might just do a one forward and see what Jeff committed to. He has moved Chopper forward and is burning that second charge, and Chopper will now be in full jam effect.
Full effect.
Yep, full effect.
Full Chopper glory.
Yep. So I mean, this is partly also why I don't think I would have pulled. I would choose to pull the bomber and Merrick down the board, is because I definitely don't want to face all four of those ships in the corner. I don't want to get trapped there with the other two so far away. So Jeff just does
a one straight.
A one straight. So he chose to not commit too hard, which I think is the right call. This definitely, with a ship as fast as Vermeil, does open up the options for him next turn to really get in behind.
Yeah, he can really dive into that bottom left-hand corner of the board.
Yeah. And even if Ved could just go ahead and 2 or 3 hard in, just so he's got
just like that.
Yep, three different vectors on Daniel's list, basically. Now I'm not sure why there's an evade next to that gas cloud. I guess the gas cloud got its own action. I'm not sure. I'll be honest.
Might just be a residual token moving around.
Yeah, probably.
So 1 straight and a barrel roll for Captain Jonas, just to get out of the way.
Yeah, playing his sort of the hammer to the anvil very slow, making Daniel commit, which I think is the right call.
That's not entertaining.
Well, it'll get entertaining.
Dice.
It'll get entertaining pretty fast, Tommy. Drink less. No, just kidding.
Too late.
Oh, damn. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna get carnage when we get carnage. You just have to be patient.
I think within at most 2 rounds, the firing will begin.
Yep.
Also, half my drink is gone, and there was at least 2 shots of vodka in it.
Well done, Tommy. The Militant Casual Drunk Cast will be in effect very shortly.
Yes. It's partly my fault for using a straw as a stir.
Oh, man. But there's no combat this turn, so we do go to round 3 dials. So a quick 1/6 of the game already over. We're a math podcast now, so it's fine. So Alex asks an excellent question. So if you're Jeff, are you hoping to engage the Y-Wings first or the Jedi first? Tommy, what do you think?
I don't know if I care about the Y-Wings as like my initial targets. I mean, with 2 Jedi on the board, I'm always looking to get shots on at least one of them, right? They're the more dangerous pair of ships.
Yep.
Now, granted, the Y-Wings can just kind of crumble underneath, 3 or 4 ships worth of firing.
Yep.
But especially if you're removing RSB-2, right?
Yep.
The only thing you're really removing is cluster mines.
Yep.
RSB-1 with its ion cannon turret and plasma torpedoes is a bit of a threat.
Yep.
But the 2 Jedis can win a game by themselves.
Yeah. I mean, if we just look at raw points on the board, the Jedi Knight is, 61 points, and that's, an extra third as many points as any of the other ships in Daniel's list. So Daniel's not going to just hang the Jedi Knight out to dry. So, in Jeff's place, I would be tempted to commit hard to essentially this area, which, for me means that Ved does a bank, like a 3 bank towards Jeff's own edge, and Jonas and Merrick then just do, 2 hards or, whatever he thinks fits, and then, Vermeil goes flying around the edge. Hoping to maybe catch that Jedi Knight in a place where he'd be isolated. Those Y-Wings are not going to be able to keep up, so they probably commit into this gap, and just a 1 bank into that gap, because he's, what Daniel wants to do is control that lane. And there's the, left bank. And if I'm Daniel, I kind of just hang there, giving, multiple options to where the Jedi Knight can go next. And then I would be shocked if Ahsoka doesn't do something like a 3 or 4 forward just to
stay with the Jedi Knight.
Exactly. Well, not just stay with the Jedi Knight, but also that's still a good position to go support the Y-Wings, depending on what Jeff chooses to do with his ships. So Vermeil I think is going to go fast. I think Vermeil's going to do something like a 1 bank boost plus then a 3 forward.
3 bank.
He could do a 3 bank, absolutely. I don't think he has to, but he could. Ved might just do a 1 forward again, just to see where Daniel's committing to.
The nice thing about Ved is you dial in like a 2 or 3, and then you worry about it later.
Exactly. And then the two bombers, or not the bombers, Jonas and Merrick. I think they kind of have to hard turn here just to keep their options open. Now, Alex is.
They could
go ahead.
one bank, right? One bank will give them a little bit more room to maneuver.
That's true. And Daniel actually did commit to a lane here, which I'm actually a little bit surprised about.
He could barrel roll. I mean, but then
true.
That leaves his Jedi Knight kind of naked.
But if he does that, then he's committed to the other way, right? So at that point, he's deeply concerned about, and I think he's got to jam himself here, so he's going to lose his target lock. Yeah. Oh, actually, and actually, Ahsoka did not go very fast. Now she could barrel roll boost to keep a lane herself.
I think Ahsoka might be lining up to try and get a fully modded plasma torp from RSV1.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, of course, he's got to get a little bit closer to RSV1 for that to work, though. Particularly with the Red Squadron Bomber 2 kind of in between. So I would probably have barrel rolled there, but that's just me.
There's the one bank aileron we were expecting.
Yep. And as you predicted, there's the 3 bank. Now, I don't think he got into range 2 of the ion cannon turret, so I think he's going to get a pretty good shot here on that front Y-wing. But it is going to make things harder for him next turn when those, bombers are going to be in his face. And that's why I kind of preferred like a 3 forward myself to keep options open. But what I'm really interested again is what does Ved do and what do the 2 other ships do here? Now, Alex asked a question. If you are Jeff, who do you want off the board? Or sorry, other way around. If you're Daniel, who do you want to get off the board? So what do you think, Tommy?
I mean, personally, I'd probably do what Daniel's doing and wait to see what comes for me, because I don't see an obvious target for me to take out.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like there's not a list that's ridiculously outpointing the other ships. And there's not an obvious, linchpin to the list.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to answer the question, I'd probably shoot for Vermeil or Merrick.
Yeah, to me, Merrick is the scariest piece, just in terms of the auto crits and then the crit pulling. Jonas
and he's got a cluster missile.
And he's got a cluster missile, but Jonas is the one that also is the heaviest in points. So there's I think I agree with you that you take your shots at who Jeff presents, but if you get a chance to try to take Captain Jonas off the board, he's my priority. You're scared to death of those ion bombs. Yeah.
Especially with that, if you take an ion bomb, the odds of you taking a proton torpedo soon after.
Yeah.
With or without the ion, one is the advanced proton torpedo by itself. Secondly is if there's an ion bomb, you get hit by it. Right? There's not a whole lot that you can do if Vermeil is in range to coordinate a lock, or if the lock already exists.
Yep. I mean, ideally, what Jeff wants to be doing, ideally, is he wants to be, stripping focuses off a target that Vermeil has a shot at, to maximize Vermeil's effectiveness. So, what I would expect to see here is after this turn, is I would expect Jeff to be thinking about how to close the trap on somebody. And I don't like. I'll be honest. I don't like the positioning of the Jedi Knight here at all. Primarily because he doesn't have the support of Ahsoka to get an action, before going over the gas cloud, if that's what he needed to do. He also moves before everything in Jeff's list, so he could do some weird sloop block, but that doesn't really help him, right?
No, I mean the Jedi Knight unfortunately isn't strong enough to flank by itself, right? Or sorry, not flank, because in this case there will be ships pointed at him. It's not a ship that you can just kind of throw out there on its own and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I've done that before with other ships, and as everyone should tell you, hope is not a good plan.
Yeah, hope's not a strategy. Now, what Jeff has done here is pretty much what I expected. He was hoping to catch the Jedi Knight, or maybe get the Jedi Knight stuck in a corner. He's going to get a number of good shots at the Jedi Knight, but through a gas cloud. So it's going to be range 2 and range 3 shots on the Jedi Knight, who's already spent his force and doesn't have a token. So I wouldn't be shocked to see a couple of damage go through on these shots.
And I think Ved's shot is unobstructed.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
Parallel. So.
Yep. So Merrick's got a range 3 shot on the Jedi Knight. He does have the target lock, but not a focus token. So he's using. Oh wow, he did not spend the lock at all.
I'm okay with that.
I am if Jeff is sure where the Jedi Knight's going to be next turn. I don't think you're going to get as good a chance to put 3 dice on that Jedi Knight again, though. So I'm a little surprised. I think you take a chance there. He's hoping for a double modded shot down the road. You've got 3 ships on the Jedi Knight here, who has only 3 or 4 dice plus the cloud. I don't know. I'm a fairly aggressive player.
So that is Ved.
Yep, this is Ved. He stood pat again. And as Daniel often does, Daniel's dice just keep him going.
I'm surprised he shot with Ved first and not Jonas.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is the better shot, right? 3 versus 3.
Oh, did Daniel forget to chopper the lock off of Jonas?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what you're worried about, Ben. That Jedi Knight didn't take a single point of damage.
Right? Okay. He jammed himself, because, yeah, he does that after doing the maneuver.
Oh,
and yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. I'm going to blame you. All right, so here we have Vermeil.
I'm just helping the viewers, Ben.
Yeah. And here, Jeff does spend the focus, and I'd imagine that the bomber will also spend a focus and take a shield.
Shield.
So not a very exciting turn, but with Daniel's ship still to go. And as we know, when Daniel fires, he rolls paint, so this should be pretty painful for Jeff.
It's fine. Only 2 ships are firing.
This time. Now, just like Ved had an...
Yeah, so Ved is range 3 unobstructed.
Yep.
Jonas is range 2 obstructed.
Yeah, the obvious shot here is 3 versus 3. Red dice are better than green dice, so you go after Ved.
And Ved's got no mods. Ooh, nice.
Yep. And there's Daniel's slightly above average roll, and there's 1 shield off of Ved. Also, Jonas does have not just the obstruction, but a focus token, so that makes it an even more, obvious, shot.
Oh, someone's... Yeah, my
wow.
Oh, no shots.
No shots. That's just out of range. Okay, so only 1 shot, but it did take a shield. So basically, both sides traded shields on this engagement. And that's a win for Daniel, because not as many shields on Jeff's list.
Who needs shields when you're flying Empire?
That's right. Shields.
That's a first order crutch.
Shields are hull upgrades for pussies. So anyway,
all right.
So now we go to dials for round 4, and
Can that Jedi Knight 3 bank boost barrel roll and just kind of avoid everybody?
I wonder if the Jedi Knight is going to do something like a 2 bank, and then barrel roll just to get in and cause a mess and jam. That would be.
That is actually, yes, because I forgot Chopper's there. That is an actually really nice play.
I mean, I wasn't.
You might. Do you take a range 1 shot from Ved though?
Yeah, probably you end up. I mean, that's why if you do a 2 bank and then barrel roll, you're at least trading that range 1 shot with Ved. You could jam Ved, so he's not gonna have a token, and well, it depends on what Ved does and what Jeff anticipates here.
Yeah, but Jeff's been very.
I don't,
cautious here.
He has, and I don't think he can be here. I think he can be cautious with Ved. I don't think he can be cautious with Jonas. I think Jonas has to go fast, ish, right? Because it's so the opportunity for Daniel here is so much, getting in there and causing a pileup, right?
Yeah, the other thing to consider as those 2 TIE advances are essentially flying in formation with Jonas is as long as they're flying in formation with Jonas, ion bombs don't come into play.
Yeah, that's true as well, and that's another maybe good reason for Jonas to go fast. Jonas doing a 3 hard here probably is fine, clears anything he needs to. Those Y-wings can't go super fast, and I honestly I suspect the front Y-wing is going to go try to block Vermeil. And in that vein, I think Vermeil's move here is probably a 1 boost and then a sloop to the other side of the.
I was thinking of 1 sloop and then a stop.
Or 1 boost and then a
1
stop.
boost and a stop. Yeah.
I
can go to the right side of the board and stop. But he might be taking a lot of hits.
So I think honestly I think what is the K turn on the Reaper? Do they have one?
Reaper's K turn is non-existent. 1 sloop.
It's just 1 sloop. So I think I would probably boost right and then sloop, because nobody's going to have arc on you that way. Maybe the ion cannon does, but come at me, bro. That's fine. I'm a medium ship, so you gotta put 2 through on me.
My other concern that keeps popping into my head is how fast can that cluster mine carrier go and drop cluster mines on Vermeil?
Well, clusters have to be dropped before you move, right? So
round after.
Yeah.
This round.
Yeah, exactly, right? Which is why I don't want to be going into the middle of this shit. And I don't really want to be going too much into the middle of this shit with the rest of Jeff's list either. But again, I would expect Daniel to do a 2 bank Jedi Knight barrel roll right, jam up that area. I would expect the front Y-wing probably to do a 2 hard to try to be a barrier for Vermeil. I'd expect the one behind him to probably do like a 1 or 2 bank. Probably a 2 or 3 bank just to give Ahsoka space.
Would you go straight with the RSB 1 with the red Y-wing? Do like a 2 straight to try and catch Ved with a plasma torp?
Maybe, but then you're really risking Vermeil just being right on top of you before you even fire. I mean, that's the thing. Like Jeff's list, everything fires first. So I definitely don't want to lose my Y-wing, before it fires that APT. Or sorry, are you talking about Jonas's APT?
No, I'm talking about the red Y-wing just doing it straight and trying to hit Ved with
plasmas.
Yeah, either Ved or Merrick, I guess.
Yeah, that's just not a good shot. 3 versus 3 dice. I think if you're trying to get your plasma torps off, you're trying to get it off on Vermeil. All right, so he's going fairly conservative. He does a 1 forward. He's going to
Lots of
target
choices
lock.
for locks.
Yeah, he's probably. I would imagine he target locks, as you say, Merrick or Ved, hoping that they'll be close. And he chooses Ved. So this suggests a 1 bank for the other bomber. Oh wow!
It fit.
It fit. 3 bank. Nice. Well done, Daniel.
Very nicely done.
Very nicely done. Yeah. And then the 2 forward from Ahsoka, I sort of expected.
Toss the focus to the RSB 1, the red Y-wing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Yep, take a focus for yourself because you're most likely getting a shot on Vermeil.
Yeah. And I don't expect Ved to go any faster than, say, like a 1 forward.
There's your 2 bank.
Yep.
Here
Now
comes
does he
the
barrel roll over for the block?
Yep.
He's spending.
He's using the force.
Yep. There's that barrel roll, and I think you just go dead on. You go even. Now he has to jam first, right?
I think let me read the card.
Oh no, it's. I bet you it's in either order, because
it's
both
after
of
you
these.
execute.
Yeah.
They both say after you execute. So
Yeah, he did.
it's
He
his
chose
choice.
fine tune and jam
Yep.
have the same timing, so he can choose between them.
I would. Oh, Ved might actually bump with where he is. So maybe Merrick. I don't know. I think I jam Merrick.
Yeah.
I think Ved bumps.
Yeah, he might actually. Did he go forward with that? He did do barrel roll forward. All right. Well played, Daniel.
As we've said before, Daniel is a smart cookie.
Yep. Jam Merrick lock. Then focus.
Nicely done. Yeah, I think Ved bumps.
If he does a 1 forward, he definitely bumps. The question now is, did he go fast with everybody? Anticipating this. So there's the 2 hard that I thought Jonas might do. Does not give a lot of space for anybody else to get around it, though.
He could barrel roll and lock and launch the advanced proton torpedo.
Yeah, and I would bet he kind of has to. I would not be shocked if he planned for that. Now Ved, the benefit that again Ved has is that whatever Jeff did dial in here, Ved can change.
All right, he goes left and back as far, but I don't think that gets him.
So it's an interesting point that that Alex noted is because Ved can go either up or down. If Jeff thought about that, he may have dialed in a 2 forward with Ved, which could have been dialed back to a 1, right? Or dialed up to a 3. So as you mentioned, there's the barrel roll target lock. Target locking the bomber.
So if he dials in the 2, he can do the 3, but he can't do the 1 because the 1's white.
Oh, it has to be the same difficulty?
Yep.
Oh, well, in that case, then he can't do ones that aren't on his dial, right?
Because they don't exist.
Because they don't exist.
So what was the Reaper trying to do? A 1 straight?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he keeps the range 1 shot, and he's not stressed. But I think I probably want to be stressed. Somebody's eating a cluster mine next round. I don't know who. Well, not next round, the round after. The
Yeah,
system phase
because he can't drop it because it would hit
movement.
Ahsoka.
Yeah. So Ved did the 3. Oh, you were right. He dialed in a 2, up to 2 or 3.
Yep.
Still not a good place for Ved to be.
I mean, better than getting blocked, right? Because at least this way, you can take a focus for
And
defense.
take focus. Yeah. But now he's got possibly 3 ships shooting at him.
Yeah, he does, and it's the interesting question is whether Ahsoka's got him bullseyed. Now again, he's going to get to fire first, so he can just strip tokens, right?
I don't know if he has anyone in arc. He'd have to
Who, Ved?
focus.
Oh, Ved's got RSP2 in arc, definitely.
I don't believe you. No, correction. I don't believe Vassal.
All right. So I'm going to take a look at the card again.
All right, folks. 2 shots of vodka are gone, plus a shot of Midori that was in there. So I no longer take responsibility for what comes out of my mouth.
So I think what it means here is of the same bearing and difficulty of a speed 1 higher or lower. Instead, is it maintains the difficulty. Well,
no, it says may execute a maneuver of the same
Yeah.
bearing and difficulty.
But if the maneuver's not on the dial, then how do you know what the
can't do it.
difficulty is?
Then it doesn't exist, so you can't do it.
That's what I would think.
Because you've got nothing to compare. You've got nothing to compare the cost, the requirements to.
I mean, the 1 forward is a different difficulty than the, as you said, the 2 and 3. So.
Yep. So it looks like Ved just focuses.
Yeah, that's the right
Merrick
call. There's no point
Merrick
to
did a
taking the
1
target lock. Oh, that's a
Looks like
nice fit.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think you focus fire on the bomber and just pile damage into it. I think Jeff's got great positioning for that. Great job avoiding Daniel's moves. They were pretty clear, moves.
Yeah, and the Jedi Knight's I guess he can sloop next turn. And probably not go. I can't tell if it's going to go over that glass cloud or not.
So another way to think about what Ved's ability is, it's if we read it as you do faster or slower, same bearing, but you maintain difficulty, that means that Ved's 1 forward would be blue, which is really good if you dialed in the 2 blue.
I read it as you can't, because it's not the same.
Well, here's the thing, I have no idea, and I'm not going to break out the rule book right now, so.
So it looks like Merrick's doing cluster missiles.
Yeah, that's a smart call. Hit both Y-wings.
You can only hit RSB2 and the Jedi Knight. RSB1 is out at range 3, so cluster missiles won't reach.
Okay, he's canceling the cluster. He's just doing a primary.
Yeah.
That's a good roll. Change one of those to a crit. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, he can change one to a crit now. Because
I think
the
he's
Y-wing only changes crits to hits that are rolled.
Yep. I think he's debating if he wants to spend the lock or not.
Yeah, I think you do it. I think you try
Yep,
to.
he did.
Yeah, you try to get that damage through. I mean, it's fine. He's gonna do a shield at least.
There he goes. He did it out of order.
It's a good chance to force.
Yep.
Yeah.
Links off shield.
Yeah, it takes off a shield. It's a chance to force, the Y-Wing to think about spending that focus early. So I think it's the right call. You want to strip as many tokens from that list as you can, basically.
Yeah. If that were me, I probably would have fired.
Oh, I was wrong. Okay, Ved does not have a shot. So no shot for Ved.
I was gonna say if Ved had a shot, I would drain my drink, but guess what happened before that?
You drained it already.
Yep.
All right.
I think I actually would have fired the cluster missiles, but what do I know?
Well, I mean, if one of them was at range 3.
Well, he can hit the Jedi Knight and RSB2.
Did he have arc on the Jedi Knight? Oh, I guess he did. Yeah, I don't know. So Jeff is firing
Advanced Proton into RSB
2.
2.
Imagine.
Ooh.
Well, one of those turns to a crit, and that should get. Well, no, it won't get through shields if he rolls lucky. But again, you're also trying to strip that focus if you can.
Yeah.
And that's that's single modded shots for you. And that's gonna do it. That's gonna put a crit through and be half points.
Put a crit through, and unfortunately doesn't make Daniel make a choice.
No, that is unfortunate. Actually, you're right. All right, so going over to our scoreboard.
Damage engine. Oh God.
Wait, isn't that a kind of a who cares?
On the Y-wing, it makes the 2 hards red.
Yeah, but that thing's never taken a 2 hard again anyway. Right? So Jeff gets 2 more damage, and that leaves the bomber at what, 2? Yep, 2.
Yep.
All right, so and that is the less pointy bomber, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is 22 points. Now, of course, what Jeff has to worry about here is what are these things able to do to Ved, basically.
So it's range 3 from Ahsoka into Ved, or range 2 into Captain Jonas.
Did he check the bullseye?
He did not check bullseye.
Yeah. I mean, I think you go into Major Vermeil here. Okay, he did check bullseye. He does not have bullseye on Ved, so I think you just take the range 1 shot on Vermeil.
Yeah.
That's your best chance to put damage through, and Vermeil is a few points more expensive than that bomber that you lost half points on.
And Daniel concurs.
Yep.
So here comes the shot. Nice.
Yep.
Spend the focus.
Yep. So this is going to put at least 2 shields into Vermeil. Nice natty evade. Sort of a trade for trade. And Vermeil loses shields but is not into hull.
You launched the plasma, right? Into Ved?
Yeah, because at least you get the 3rd die that way. I don't think it's great. I mean, you are double modded.
He's checking range, but unfortunately Vassal isn't telling me what it is.
Yeah, he's doing plasma torps.
He's doing plasma torps. Yeah.
It looks like range 2 for sure.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that probably is going to hit Ved and clear his shield, the last shield off before doing damage. Just barely. So that'll be shield hull.
Shield hull.
So gets everything he wanted to out of that plasma, and Ved is at half points.
That puts Daniel slightly in the lead, right?
It is tied 22 to 22.
Ved is only 44 points?
Ved is only 44 points because he is naked as the day he was born. Now synchronized console comes into play, and the
RSB2.
Yeah, for that primary.
Yep.
I mean, Daniel was lucky he didn't have to spend the target lock, so he can do this.
Yep.
Look at that, everybody. We have a game in which synchronized console actually mattered. What a world.
It did something!
What a country.
Now, the unfortunate part was Ved still has that focus.
Yeah. Well, green dice are terrible, so that could still betray him. But again, like, Ved's only 44 points, right? So if you get out of this and you lose Ved, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but you've got 2 4-ship lists, and if you can remove...
Yeah. Well, the Jedi Knight is now not in a great position, right?
I think he just loops.
Probably.
Oh!
Yikes. That is not what Jeff wanted to see. Just roll natties, as we say in the business. Please. Yeah, he's praying for focus. Oh.
Yeah, he's good. He's fine.
Yep. Daniel may not know what to do here. His opponent's dice are staying as hot as his.
Yeah, these tie advanced aren't Vader, so I'm not sure what Daniel was going to do.
Well, he also doesn't have Hollow, so I guess that also doesn't. It just throws everything into doubt.
Look, I still don't know how he killed Vader with 2 V19s at range 3.
I think it's a myth. I think he's been lying to us all this time.
You know Daniel wouldn't lie to us.
No. All right, so I think we're heading to round 5 here.
Yes.
I don't think they remembered to change the...
Yeah.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, so we're at round 5 dials. All right, so we've got kind of a clusterfuck here, but not one in which cluster bombs probably have much use.
No, I mean, I expect RSP2 to go kind of slow to try to muck up that area over there.
Yeah.
Now,
something to keep in mind here is that bomber has a special ability that Jeff forgot about in his first game, but I know he remembers now because we talked about it last night. So if you are Jonas, do you drop an ion bomb curved onto that gas cloud behind you? And
yeah.
Get the hell out of Dodge.
Well, can Merrick get out of the way?
Yeah, Merrick is in kind of an unfortunate spot because no matter what Merrick does, Merrick is going to be going over that gas cloud, which, to me, what is there K turn on that dial? I know they've got the Talon rolls.
Merrick? Yeah. Yep. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, they've got a 4K.
4K. It's probably not what you're looking for here, given that those Y-wings are probably going to be in the way. Now, you could Talon roll to the right, and there's probably nothing in your way.
Yeah, but I'm not sure I like that either.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to have an action no matter what, right? So the real question is, what do you do to have shots?
I kind of like the 4K.
The problem I see with the 4K is if that bomber survives next turn, he's just going to drop the cluster on you. Right.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm trying to figure out where Vermeil is going to be.
I suspect Vermeil is going to sloop now. I think Vermeil is going to probably, dial in a sloop to the right, and then we'll play it by ear whether he's going to need to, boost forward or boost left to get it done.
Yeah, because if I'm Daniel, I'd probably do a 1 straight or a 1 bank with... No, I'd probably do a 2 straight with the...
With who? The bombers?
The cluster mine holder. I'm not sure what I do with the ion turret.
Yeah, so we have to think about Ahsoka here, right? Because Ahsoka can't afford to not complete a maneuver. So I think that a 1 forward on each of the Y-wings gives Ahsoka room to do a 2 forward, which she could do. But that doesn't clear out the space behind that bomber to drop a cluster.
No, it doesn't.
Right? So I would actually maybe expect the the undamaged Y-wing to maybe do a K turn of its own to keep that ion cannon aimed somewhere vaguely towards the Imperials. Like I think it can fit a what do they have, a 3 or a 4K?
It's a 4K.
Yeah,
I think a 4K fits.
I think it can fit a 4K. I think you're right. The Jedi Knight sloops. R2A6. I think I probably just like one bank to have a better angle to drop that bomb if I survive next turn, like a one bank to the left. And then Ahsoka maybe a one bank to the right and play it by ear. I think if I'm Daniel.
Are there no charges on R2A6?
No, R2A6 can be used every turn, as I understand it. I've never used R2A6.
So you could dial in a 2-bank and just choose.
Yeah, true. Of
course, it doesn't buy him anything because he's moving first.
And
everything I've said.
And I don't, again, like, 2-bank's probably not a terrible idea because if as you look at things, if you'd want to go faster, fine. But that bomber's gonna die, so it wants to be in the way. And
or it needs to find a way to stay out of all the arcs.
Yeah.
Because if it survives this round, it's gonna make somebody's day very bad.
Yeah.
All right. While they're thinking, I'm gonna go relieve myself.
Okay. You remove that vodka from your system. That's fine. One of the things that we've mentioned a few times when we have had Daniel be our player on one of these streams is that Daniel is a very methodical planner. Daniel wins a lot of games because he is very good at plotting optimal moves, and not necessarily moves that are not predictable, but just what are the best set of moves for my ships to gain an advantage. Jeff here clearly, for the most part, anticipated exactly what Daniel was going to do last turn, and even with that, they exited the turn even in terms of damage. And then, of course, that leaves, unfortunately, Merrick in a place where he's just not going to have an action next turn no matter what he does, and there's not really a great place for him to go.
Yeah, I guess that's the other thing, right? That if that 4K fits, that ion turret probably has a pretty good shot on a Merrick that's only rolling 2 green dice.
Yeah, or could be, right? It's a 30% chance or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's hits and focuses, so that's 5 out of 8, right?
Yeah,
no,
a little bit more than half.
Yeah, it's 5 out of 8. Yes, so slightly more than half. Because there are 3 hits and 2 focuses on the dice, plus 1 crit and 2 blanks. So yeah.
It's only 2 blanks. Why does it not feel that way?
Because your dice and my dice actually have no hits and crits.
No. We've determined that from my last game that is a lie.
Yeah. Well, you borrowed Daniel's, so
that's probably true.
I
somehow sucked Daniel's vassal dice through the ether.
I mean, this is the place, this situation that Jeff now finds himself in, right? He successfully, navigated what Daniel was going to do last turn, but now he's stuck in this horrible situation with ships that move before him, ships that can know that they will get where they want to be, whereas Jeff can't be sure of that.
This is future me's problem.
Yeah, this is not a good place to be. Just
no,
period.
I mean, I think this is where I've had the most issue with the Reaper, right? It's in the thick of things.
Yep.
Now what do you do?
Yeah, and I think that's the easiest move actually for Jeff here. Again, I think it is dial in a sloop, and then play the boost by ear. I think that probably can navigate you around Ahsoka wherever Ahsoka ends up, because Ahsoka is the one who's going to block Vermeil if anybody blocks Vermeil. Yeah, nobody else is going to.
The other thing to consider is if he's dropping an ion bomb, Vermeil really only has one place to go.
Yeah. Yep. And I don't know for sure that Jeff is going to. He had dials down and then seems to have changed his mind. Merrick is kind of fucked. Ved could 4K. That's fine. And
I think that sounds most optimal for Ved. Takes him out of most of the shots.
Yeah.
Um,
The bomber is kind of screwed because it's stressed. So, ideally I think the bomber would do something of like its own turnaround, but it can't. Okay, so Daniel did a 2-bank with the bomber.
So there's no 4K coming.
No 4K. Yep. And a 1-bank with the other. So just jamming up the middle there.
Do you rotate your turret? No, he just takes a focus.
Yeah, I think he's planning on somebody's will be over in that side, so why bother? Oh, interesting. So self bump with the Jedi Knight.
Yep.
But he's going to have his choice of who to jam. Ooh. He does take the strain, which is unfortunate.
I think you have to jam Vermeil if he's in range, right? No, because Vermeil... No, I don't know.
I think you jam... I think you're right. Well, jam Jonas.
Yeah.
Jam Jonas, I think, is the right call. Because Jonas is the one most likely to have arc and an action.
Yep. Oh, no, I don't know if that's Ved or Jonas.
I think it's probably... I think it's Ved, to be honest.
Just to cut off that too hard?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, it bought that action.
I did not expect that.
It hit the nub.
I just sure did. Stupid nubs.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yep.
Daniel's cursing that nub right now.
Yep. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of why I thought a bank was the better call there. You get in the way of Vermeil and you don't take a chance that you clip anything, but, All right, so now we get to see what Jeff did here.
Yeah, the only thing I'm sure of is he didn't drop bombs.
Oh yeah, I mean because there's no bomb on the table.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh.
That's 1 forward.
Okay, yeah.
I don't hate it.
You
clear the stress. You still have a shot. You're not going to take a lot of shots, so it's not bad.
The really nice thing is it leaves the option of dropping another bomb next to it.
It sure does, and that's going to be really bad for the ion turret guy who really doesn't have a lot of good moves from here.
Yeah, I might just. I mean, if he he will survive, I might just K. I might just K turn and eat the ion.
Yep, probably. All right.
Sounds like Jeff is trying to decide which ship to move next between Vermeil and.
Which I suggest that Ved is not doing a K turn or a Talon. Well, maybe he was thinking about a Talon to the right. Maybe he wants to see if he can fit it, or think about whether he can. I don't think it fits. I think he'd hit the Jedi or Ahsoka, but I wouldn't have been ballsy enough to dial that in the first place. Of course, he does also with Ved have the ability to change the speed, so he can actually do a K turn. Let's see, they've got the 4 natural K turn, right? Mm-hmm. So he could do a 3K or a 5K. Oh, he just did a 4 forward.
4 forward?
Interesting.
I don't hate it.
No, I don't hate it either.
I'm not sure I agree with it, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, it takes him out of the fight. I mean, but Ved is in bad shape, and he got, strained, so, or jammed, so, here he's not going to take any shots. He can come back in with a Talon roll next turn if he wants to, or just slow roll.
Yeah.
It's fine. Now I'm really curious what Merrick is going to end up doing, though.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, because Ahsoka hit that nub, I don't think a 1 forward boost clears Ahsoka. And I'm not confident a 1 bank.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so Ved not only obviously didn't clear the jam, he did go ahead and barrel roll, which I hope that didn't just put him in arc of the The Y-Wing primary.
Ooh, yeah. Well, we'll see how this goes.
Oh.
Oh, he took it back. Maybe he wants to go
Yeah, he probably wants to change forward, having seen where that left him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's. I think that gets him out.
Smart decision. I agree with that decision, Jeff.
I'm going to refrain from singing the smart song by Ralph
I am
Wiggins.
so smart, SMRT.
Yes. Oh, yeah, you're right. It did not clear.
Oh, I hope he didn't sloop now.
Guess what? Oh.
Brutal. So that's a stressed Vermeil. It's not the worst thing, to be perfectly honest.
It's not the worst. He gets 4 die on...
I mean, the Y-Wing with the bomb can't drop that cluster, I don't think. I mean, he does get to choose who detonates it, who the clusters detonate on, but one of those bombs will only hit...
Actually, it might hit both Jonas and Vermeil and leave RSV-1 laughing in the wind.
Well, I think... But it will... I think the middle token will hit RSV-1.
I think it might... Oh,
And I don't know that I would want to risk that even to get some maybe damage on the other two.
Oh, Merrick just goes straight and tries to get out of dodge. I don't hate it.
I don't either, except he just hit both of those, which means he does need to roll both effects.
Yes.
Which means he could be double strained, which would be real bad. And he's not, because crit does not do it.
One time you're hoping for a crit.
Yeah, it's funny. It's the opposite of the debris.
And
debris,
when you do a blue maneuver, it just like stress, it only removes the 1 strain token, right?
Yep, that's right. So here's Vermeil's shot at the Ion Y-Wing. Oh, I guess not. What did he roll on?
Why did he roll so many? I don't see any ships.
Oh, is he technically... It says that he's technically range 1 on Ahsoka. Because he's touching the nub, not the base? Okay. Okay. No, he changed over. He is firing at the Y-Wing, which is the correct call. So that is a second Y-Wing to half points.
Yep.
So Jeff goes up 45 to 22.
Ahsoka does have range 1 on Vermeil and Jonas.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think he actually can shoot Vermeil because they're touching.
Right? Okay.
So I think he's firing at Jonas. Jonas just got nudged. Jonas is not quite to half. And now the Jedi Knight is going to be able to pummel Vermeil at range 1. Looks like he's maybe thinking about firing at Merrick, which is 3 versus 1. I think you still go 4 versus 1 into Major Vermeil and you take the points, but... For, what is that range? Range 2, yeah. So 4 versus 2 it would be on Merrick.
Yeah, well... 3 versus 2 versus Merrick, right? 4 versus 1 on Vermeil?
Yes. 3 versus 1 on Merrick, or 2. Sorry, 3 versus 2 on Merrick, 4 versus 1. Yeah, you go into Vermeil.
You go into Vermeil.
Take the points.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I do it.
There's the dice we know and love.
Oof. Yeah.
All right, so that will be half points on Vermeil, at least. Panic Pilot. Oof. Now he should already be stressed, right, from the sloop?
Yeah, so it should be 3 stress. Yep.
All right, so Daniel takes the lead 47 to 45 on that shot. So now I think you definitely, I mean, I guess maybe you go ahead and drop the bomb. Why not? All right, round 6.
I do think the RSB can, the Red Y-Wing RSB-1, I think the middle one does hit Captain Jonas.
I don't think so.
You let me dream.
But I don't think you care. You're already at half
Yeah.
points on that Y-Wing anyway, and you have a
Yeah, I
chance
don't
to potentially take Vermeil off the board before he moves.
You do it.
Yeah, I think you do it. Get half points on Jonas potentially as well. I'm a crazy person, so I do it.
Does a... Let's see here. Does a 1 hard to the right for Ahsoka fit? Yes, because if the RSB-1 moves...
Yeah, the RSV-1 will definitely have to move first.
So do you do that 1 hard to just kind of...
Stay in Vermeil's way?
Yeah, stay in Vermeil's way if he doesn't make it. Or, sorry, if he makes it through the clusters, if there are clusters.
I don't think it's the worst idea at all. I think RSB-1 probably does finally do its 4K here because it's not going to take any shots, having done that. Daniel loves the 2 hard on the bombers, so I think the one that is stress or critted probably might just do that, even though it's going to be, stressed. Because once he drops the cluster, he's basically just a points fortress. So I mean, he could also just go peace out.
Yeah.
Goes
drop it
and run.
Drop it and save the 20 points and run.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the right call for that ship because anything that gets arc on it is just going to kill it. He won't be able to fix the damaged engine, obviously, but whatever, just get out. The Jedi Knight is still in great shape.
You can't fix damaged engine, so
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like it's there. It's not being fixed. So
yeah.
Now Jonas probably is going to drop the ion here and just hope that it catches somebody.
Oh, that's true.
And there's no reason not to, because you don't even know if you're going to have Jonas around after this turn anyway. So YOLO.
Yeah, he's got 2.
That also true. The big problem is, obviously Vermeil is on fire and might very well be dead. So that makes it hard to kind of predict, think about what are your moves going to be. And obviously Vermeil doesn't want to move into an ion bomb either. So, if Ahsoka just does a 1 hard, Vermeil's kind of hosed.
Does Vermeil just do a 2 hard and get out of dodge?
2 hard away?
Red.
Oh.
No, they can't. It's red.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think there is a good move for Vermeil. I mean, I would just dial in the 1 forward and just be where I am.
Deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, just deal with it. Like, you're not going to have an action. You're probably going to get jammed by Chopper. Just fucking...
Yeah, that really does leave Joe Yeah, I mean, Jeff went from a early on good positioning to this is not fun.
No, and that's like the problem with, playing. Yes, you got the initiative, the pilot skill advantage on everyone, but if you're too aggressive, all of a sudden everything piles up, right? And Vermeil was a little aggressive on that approach. I don't know that Merrick was too aggressive, but he did end up not being able to push through the damage that he wanted to with that. And now he's just getting jammed up. This could still go either way, though, right? I mean, Ved's nowhere near the problem. Jonas can manage his own escape.
None of the ships have been removed. I mean,
but the big problem is that Jedi Knight
is still full health.
Full health. Could even just sloop here and probably be okay. And of course, Ahsoka can choose one of these folks, depending on where she ends up, to do her little coordinate on. As long as she can clear her move.
Which I think she's got many options.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's the ion bomb.
There's the ion.
Yep. And I would curve it myself.
Oh.
I would curve it to the
ships
to the top. I would curve it to the top. I think you're more likely to cause trouble both to that Y-wing and potentially Ahsoka, but also leave yourself plenty of maneuver options for yourself.
My kingdom for a seismic charge.
Yeah. He says, having used seismic charge last night. Now I think, there we are. Also, you get a little bit more distance on it, so if that Y-wing did K-turn, you're more likely to hit it.
So, there's also a chance that Y-wing went after Ved.
Yeah, but I think if it did, a 2 hard doesn't get it out of range. So
Sure.
I think you're okay with that. There's the K-turn I thought the bomber might too.
There's the K-turn. No bombs from...
I guess, and I've mentioned this a few times. Daniel is one of the more conservative players you will find in X-Wing. It doesn't hurt him, but he will, in the same vein where we've talked about, he's going to always avoid damage where he can. That would include a decision where you would auto damage potentially yourself, or not auto damage, but you know what I mean. All right, so Ahsoka does do a Signor's loop. And she can use force to give herself an ability while stressed, or an action while stressed.
Focus!
But she could also, there's a focus. I was wondering if she might do something like get the Jedi Knight off that cloud or something, but...
I'm not sure. Yeah, because if you do that, that's probably a great place to be.
Yeah. So the Jedi Knight just does a 1 bank, clears the strain. He's going to have lots of options.
Yeah, and I wouldn't spend the force for fine-tuned.
I wouldn't either.
Focus.
Yeah, I would even think about a target lock on maybe Jonas, to be honest.
Yeah, but I'm... Yeah.
Oh, he is using fine-tune.
Oh.
So it must be some kind of boost. Yep. He's expecting Merrick to maybe Talon roll.
Yeah.
Oh, he just wanted to jam Merrick. I understand.
Chopper must do chopper things.
Yep. Yeah.
Now you just focus.
And you were definitely right on the Ion Y going after Ved. There's a 5K from Jonas. I wondered if he might just do that. I like that move, though he's going to have no tokens and potentially a strain here.
Right. And he's going over. Yeah, he's going over the strain again.
Yeah, he sure is.
So that green Y-wing. No, he's fine.
Yeah, he just laughs off.
Yeah, the green Y-wing is suddenly in a pretty good position for the upcoming rounds.
Are you talking about the Ion Y-wing or the other one?
Ion is green.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, Cluster is green.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see that dot. Okay, I see what you mean. In the middle of its hull.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's you've got shots. You're gonna maximize what's left of its life.
I'm still sad cluster mines weren't dropped.
I know you are.
All right, so I would assume Jeff is trying to figure out. No, there he goes.
Yep. So that'll clear stress. That's gonna give him a real good shot on that Y wing, but is still double stressed. So such is life.
Yeah, so he's got a chance to, if he can push a crit through, remove. Well, if Ved is doing a 2 Talon like I think he is, or
You know what
even
I
a
think
4K.
sucks here is I think Vermeil's gonna get hit by that ion bomb.
Yes, he is.
But I also think that Ahsoka probably is gonna kill him. So
Yes.
I don't think Ahsoka has bullseye, but 3 dice probably is enough to kill Vermeil.
Oh, yeah, no. It looks close, but it doesn't look like it.
Yeah. But he is going to get to use Vermeil's ability on that Y-Wing, so that'll be good. Because the Y-Wing took the target lock on Ved. Everybody's trying to make Ved dead.
How long have you been waiting to say that?
It just came to mind.
I don't believe you.
Okay, so Jeff was thinking about what to do with Ved.
Yep. So he doubted the hard right. So.
And it looks like he dialed it down to a 1 hard, which is interesting. I mean, I think you have to just take the focus, right?
Barrel roll to try and get to range 3, link the evade.
I mean, if he wanted to be a range 3, why not just do a 3 hard off the 2 hard?
That's true. Yeah.
Right? So.
Well, this way he might have a shot on the Jedi Knight.
Yeah, he's taken the target lock on the Jedi Knight, so he gets that extra die. I mean, on the Jedi Knight. And Merrick just does a 4K. Keeps the strain, which is going to hurt when the Jedi Knight fires at him. But he does get to... Oh, go ahead.
Doesn't that focus go away? What? Wait, I'm sorry. Why does he have a focus?
I don't know. Oh, he stole the Jedi Knight's focus.
The Jedi Knight's focus.
Yeah. Clever. All right. So the ion bomb does hit both the Y-Wing and Vermeil. Jeff probably doesn't care because he suspects Vermeil's not going to survive anyway. Ion bomb does not do damage, which I need to emphasize for certain people.
Shut up.
Namely Tommy, who doesn't read.
I still lost that game. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I read. I just don't read good.
Just like you type, but you don't type good. Now, the good thing for Jeff here is he's going to get multiple shots on the Jedi Knight. So he does have a good chance to strip that focus before, but not with Daniel's defense dice. I didn't even get a chance to finish saying it.
And not with Merrick.
What do we say, guys? Just roll natties. What is this? Oh, this must be Major Vermeil on the Y-Wing. That is not natties. That is that one to 1 hole. Close, but no cigar. Alright, so here should be 3 dice on the Jedi Knight. Definitely don't bother trying to fire at Ahsoka. Actually, here's an interesting
Jedi Knight is
question.
obstructed.
Do you try firing at the Y-Wing and try to kill it? Or is that obstructed? That is
It's
obstructed.
obstructed too.
Ugh.
Everything is obstructed.
Barf. Yeah, so the Jedi Knight would get 3 dice with an auto change. The Y-Wing would also get 3 dice with an auto change, being at range 3 obstructed.
Yeah.
I still think you take the shot at the Y-Wing, honestly. If you can take a gun off the board, you do it. 3 versus 3, no token on either. Red dice being better than green. I mean,
And you only need the one.
you only need the one. Yes, Drew, you missed the math part. We did go back over the comments from yesterday. It's the consensus seems to be that the math is the same. The raw math is the same with 2 dice, but the chance to re-roll and get a crit makes it better to do the re-roll. Alright, so he does get a hit. We don't know who he rolled at.
That's got to be into the Y-Wing.
They both would have 3 dice.
They only rolled 2 reds.
Ah, yes. And unfortunately for Jeff, Daniel rolled the average roll.
Zed does have the Jedi Knight at range 2, and it's unobstructed.
Yep. Oh. Average roll. And I think you have to spend the target lock. I think you have to try to strip that focus.
Yeah, you've got to do the crit thingy, and then re-roll the other 2.
But what would be the math be if Ved also had a force token? No, I'm just kidding.
What we just discussed. You can choose either one, and because it has 3 shields, I would just re-roll the 1. But he has none of those.
No, he left it. And I think you just take the shield damage and keep the focus.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, and this is that rare situation where Daniel being more conservative than me, and we still agree. Because you could put some damage through on Merrick with the follow-up shot.
He might be able
he's strained.
He might even be able to hit Jonas. Range 1.
Yeah, he might be able to, but I don't think you. I think you take the. Take the good shot. So there is.
Spend the focus.
Yep. That's going to be a dead Vermeil no matter what.
Yep.
So. All right. So Daniel goes up to 71 points to 45, halfway through the game.
Merrick is range 2.
And he did not have arc on Jonas. But I don't. Again, like, you take the points for Merrick if you can. Average roll spends the focus.
It's fine.
Just roll natties.
Oh, Y-Wing has a shot on Captain Jonas.
Through junk. So 2 versus 4.
2 versus... Yep.
That's not going to do it.
Now here's the important one.
Yeah. Yeah, this will be, what, 2 versus 3.
2 versus 3.
No tokens for anybody.
No, RSB, the red has a lock.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, okay, so he does have a lock. That's fair. And of course, knowing Daniel, that'll be blank blank into hit. Sorry, no, hit crit.
What are you talking about? He's not gonna even have to use it. He's gonna roll 2 crits.
He's gonna throw plasma
right.
torch.
Yes,
he does have the second charge there, so that's oh my god.
It hit. Yeah, so you're fine. The target lock's just there for decoration.
Oh.
Well, the odds weren't in Ved's favor once Daniel popped the plasma torp anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean 3 versus 3 is still an advantage, but I mean you still hope to only take 1 damage if you're Jeff there. Now, fortunately again for Jeff, that Ved Foslo is cheap as shit. So yes, this looks pretty bad for the bad guys because the Empire's bad guys, everybody. But it's still only 93 to 45. And that Y-Wing is only going a 1 forward, so you can finagle things so you're not going to take any shots there. Merrick is still full health, so and could do a blue. Of course, Daniel being Daniel, he's probably going to have a pretty good chance at getting some blocks in here.
Yeah, that Jedi Knight's about to get in the middle of things. Captain Jonas is probably going to try and go after him, but he's going over gas cloud again.
Yep. So let's talk about the Jedi Knight. If I'm the Jedi Knight, if I'm Daniel, I'd probably just 2 sloop in front of Merrick with the Jedi Knight. I probably just 2 forward, barrel roll to the right with Ahsoka, just to get in the way of Captain Jonas, or to have a shot on Jonas if Jonas goes, towards the bottom edge. And then obviously he doesn't even have to worry about his dial for the 1 bomber. And the other one, probably, I don't know, one forward, clear the stress.
I'm looking at the dial, I'm like, there are only 2 blue maneuvers?
Oh god, they're so bad. I mean, again, that's why R2 almost needs to be glued to those things. And it's why R2-D2 pilot is so disappointing at its cost.
Dear G1A, I love you. I found a worse dial than yours.
Oh, it's so bad. But, the Y-Wing isn't terrible. They're particularly good with ion cannons.
Just their dial is.
Yeah, their dial's bad. It's real bad. All right. So Daniel does a 1 bank. And probably gives the Jedi Knight okay, so Jedi Knight probably is going to do either a sloop or a K turn, and it's going to get a focus here. Yep.
Yep, there's its focus.
Yeah. And then Ahsoka takes her own, and there's the 2 sloop. Yep. So if Jeff predicted this, he's probably hoping that he just bumps, clears his stress.
I was gonna go toward the right and try and take out the Y-Wing.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, if you predicted this, that's not a terrible idea. Is just to go, two bank to the right and straight on till morning. So Jonas attempted to get away from that sloop but failed. So that's going to be unfortunate for Jonas. Or yeah, sorry, I was saying R2, but I meant R4. R2's, of course, shield recovery. And there is, as you predicted, a 2 bank. I don't think anybody's got a shot on you. Just kill that Y and then come in. I mean, that is the thing that, Merrick does have here, is that Merrick is the, highest pilot skill on the board. It's not Vader, so you really wouldn't expect Merrick to be able to take on the entire, rebellion itself or Republic itself, but he's not out of this by any stretch of the imagination. It's just going to be really hard with both Ahsoka and the Jedi Knight getting in the way of things.
Yeah, it's going to come down to 3 naked dice.
Yeah.
And that's not going to do it.
Oh. Wait, what action did he take?
He was jammed. He had no action.
He was jammed. Right. Goddamn Chopper.
Chopper did what he
Chopper
was
things. Yep.
Yep.
Daniel's saying GG, which makes me think that Jeff has decided to maybe call it a game. There's 2 dice on the Y-Wing.
Takes 1.
It's going to be able to do 1 out of the 2 points he needed to do to kill that. Yep, Jeff conceded.
Concedes, yeah.
All right. So yeah, that escalated quickly, as they say. So
yeah,
go ahead, Tom.
I probably would have. I probably would have gone 1 more turn
Well, I mean, I think from Jeff's perspective, Jonas dies here, right? No token, Jedi Knight with 3 dice.
Yeah, I'd stick around to find out.
Once he didn't take that Y-Wing off the table, he's got... It's just too much. Like, that Y-Wing can get in the way of whatever Jeff wants to do with Merrick. Clearing that Y-Wing out means that Merrick can do a 3 hard and come in with actions with it there.
I'm not saying the odds of Jeff winning are very low, but at least getting, possibly taking both Y-Wings off the board gets you some more points.
Yep. All right, let's head in and talk to our players.
Yeah, damn it, Daniel, why are you in this room? Go back to the other one.
All right. Hello, players. Or should I say players? All right. So, that escalated quickly. Can you guys hear us okay?
Yep.
So walk us through, let's have, so obviously, kind of we felt like Tommy's and my perspective, there was that turn where Jeff, you predicted the barrel roll block, got past it, maybe didn't get enough damage through on the Y-Wings, and then of course Merrick had to go through a gas cloud after that, and things were jammed up. That felt like for us kind of the, not getting enough damage through on the Y and then getting jammed up was sort of the game, basically. What was your guys' perspective on the turning point here?
I lost. Frankly, I felt like I lost on a superior engage that scored nothing. Absolutely nothing. Daniel was something like 6 out of 10 evades in that one. It was pretty remarkable. That was the first engagement round, and then you just can't get away from that damn chopper.
Yeah.
I frankly just sort of lost track how many natural. Had one natural, I think. I don't know. It's getting away from chopper that is nasty. It's like the perfect upgrade on a hyper maneuverable low init ship.
Yep. Yeah, that's what kind of my fault, and along with the other guys in Militant Casuals, when Daniel, you were thinking, what do I do here? Do I put do I switch 7B over? And we were like, no, you keep 7B on that guy, and you send him in there. So the engage was really interesting, actually, and actually your opening maneuvers were really interesting to us. Tommy and I were talking about, Daniel, you started out in the sort of classic, I've got a lot of health square, and Jeff, you kind of did what we thought you might, which is put the Reaper on the outside to potentially flank around the gas clouds. And then Daniel, you turned your entire list that direction, and to us, that left Jeff with a really interesting decision once both the Reaper and I think it was Ved that was with the Reaper, correct me if I'm wrong, both went pretty fast on that first turn, because then you had to make a decision whether you were going to cut in or go around, right? Were you expecting, Jeff, were you expecting Daniel to turn towards the board edge rather than go along the far edge, or
no? I expected exactly what happened, which was a fake turn and then a turn back in the original direction.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much exactly what I was expecting. That's what Vermeil was poised for. It's what I was doing with Ved and the bomber and the and Merrick, and it really was a great engagement round, and just no reward for it whatsoever.
I want to say, Daniel, Tommy was really disappointed that you didn't drop the cluster that probably would have hit all 3 ships.
Yeah, it would have hit the Reaper and Ahsoka. I figured he wouldn't drop it for that reason. The Reaper was not long for the world, so
yeah,
no reason to drop it there.
But there was a really good chance it hit everything but your ships. Come on, Daniel.
No.
You gotta
It was
entertain
that
the
middle.
viewers.
The middle token was going to hit one of Daniel's ships.
The middle token would have hit my own Y wing, the red guy. Which again, if you look on the board, he only has 1 health left, so he probably would have been killed by Vermeil that second to last round.
Right.
That Vermeil was there, so I figured I could get all 3 ships, 1 on the bomber, 1 on my Y wing, and 1 on potentially Vermeil. But I was ahead of the game at that moment, points wise, and I didn't want to. I didn't need to do it.
Right.
I'm not disagreeing with your choice. I'm just disappointed in your choice.
Okay, fair enough. Fair.
So Daniel, what were you expecting out of Jeff? Like, one of the things we talked about in the stream is the win condition for Jeff is a little bit clearer, I think, than your win condition on Jeff. What I mean by that is that Jedi Knight at 61 points and with Chopper is, from our perspective, like your key piece. Jeff, we weren't really sure kind of what to think of as your key piece. You probably have a thought on what you want to preserve. But Daniel, what did you see as the thing you wanted to take off the board as quickly as you could?
So for me, it was the TIE Advanced. Either one, I don't care which one it is. Both Merrick and Ved can be very, very dangerous. All his ships have higher initiative than I do, and Ved can dance around with his ability to change the speed of his maneuvers. That can be very, very, very bad in a one-on-one situation. So both Ved and Merrick were prime targets, and it was just whichever one Jeff would present first. And I think Ved was just slightly more ahead, so that was my target.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the way we thought about it too, is that there wasn't a clear one to focus down. It was whatever presented itself. Jeff, it sounded like you maybe had a thought there.
Yeah, Ved was actually further back initially. It's that he wasn't obstructed. He had like 4 dice on an initial roll, and still took a damage, and of course 3 dice on his attack and did no damage. It was. I think that's right. The thing about the list that I like, even though I can't seem to win with it, is that all of the ships are right around 50 points.
Yep.
So, it's like you can ignore Jonas, but if you ignore Jonas, he's going to get Proton Torpedo. In this case, Proton Torpedo was slightly below average.
Yep.
Y-Wing would have been dead. It was, it was just rough. It was like, I could feel it coming. I could just feel it.
Yeah, that's the thing you hate when you're single modded, right? Is when it just you don't get the damage you really, really, really need to get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you expect that, but it's like, what's frustrating is when you're single modded and you get nothing at all.
Yeah,
that's. I had one good roll out of Reaper with no mods, which was nice.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's just
Jeff can blame me for draining all the paint from the Reds last night.
I'm telling you, I am just I'm in a red dice slump. I mean, my greens were pretty average. I think I haven't looked yet.
Yeah, I felt like your greens were
they
decent.
They felt average to good.
Yeah. But so my reds were actually fine. A little bit below average, not much. But my crits were 5 below average. Daniel's evade, 5 above average. The attacks, 1 above average. That's not bad. That feels about right. My evade's below average. I'm just in a slump. It's like it happens, And if you if you go in streaks, like my last few rolls in that game were just like, what was it? It was Daniel got 3 natty 3s
Yep.
in a row, and I got like 3 blanks and 3 eyeballs,
Yep.
and it's just that when it goes in streaks like that, I don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
A lot I can do in terms of claiming mods when he can choose to get rid of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've definitely been there.
I sort of feel like I'm stuck with raw dice, and if the raw dice are bad, then there's
yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I got the Lady Luck. I was looking at the stats for Lady Luck. So Jeff, on hits, you actually rolled above average for hits. The crits were far below, but
hits and crits were average. Crits were way below. Mm-hmm. But keep in mind that some of those hits are gas clouds.
True. And then, but your green dice and my green dice were actually pretty much like statistically like perfectly average for green dice at least.
The greens felt fine to me. It was just the inability to punch any damage through your evades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Daniel had a couple of key double evade mods at moments where it could have very much tilted the game if you'd gotten damage through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could have. It would have been a really nice to go into that first engage with him rolling average evades 3 or 4 instead of 6 or 7, whatever it was.
Yep.
That would have been pretty sweet. I mean, every evade roll he rolled was 2 evades.
Yeah. So someday we're gonna get Daniel isolated somewhere and force him to teach us the dice incantation that he does to get the mods he gets when he needs them.
Yep.
Did you guys have any just other general thoughts about the game? Anything we haven't talked about in terms of the engagements, the start?
I do agree with Jeff that his opening was a lot better than mine. He had a lot better range control than I did, and he was able to avoid getting hit by my Wide Wings the first round, but still have shots on my Jedi Knight and force the Jedi Knight to hide behind the cloud a little bit.
Yep.
But once the Jedi Knight with Chopper gets in the thick of things, just stripping mods, especially on TIE Advanced that really want a focus and a target lock at the same time, it's impossible. It's impossible at that point to get double modded shots with them, and that it just hurts. It hurts so much.
Yeah, we didn't think about it at the time when you did it, but you one-hearted the Jedi Knight onto the gas cloud, and we were like, oh, you could. I wonder why he didn't do like a sloop there just to have guns on, and then duh, of course, because you're more important for that Jedi Knight isn't necessarily its own mods, but denying Jeff's mods. So
yeah, Chopper should simply not work if you don't.
It works even if you bump. He still works because all you gotta do is do a maneuver. Even if you bump, you still have the Chopper. And then the other thing is, honestly, with Ahsoka can just give my Jedi Knight actions if need be. Like at the very second to last round where I slooped the Jedi Knight, Ahsoka's like, wait, before you do that, here's a focus.
Yep.
Okay, now do your thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's AP5 except way better. Because not only could Ahsoka do that with her force, it's just like using fine-tuned controls. Then you also have your own focus for Ahsoka, right? You're not giving up your own action. Yeah, you're spending a force token, but Ahsoka is great. And I think what I've learned from watching you play, these 2 games, Daniel, is that I'm going to be flying a whole lot more Ahsoka when we're all back onto the tables, because she's fantastic.
Yep. And if the meta stays in a relatively low initiative, like Swarms with I2s and I1s, Ahsoka's a pocket ace. Even with CLT, if that's all you have is just CLT, she still does quite a bit of work.
Yeah. Yep. Tommy, last thoughts from you?
I'm good.
You've
covered everything that I thought of.
Cool. Jeff, did you have any closing thoughts?
Just did you guys see? I mean, did you guys see anything that you would not have done, would have done differently?
Not
One
really.
thing that I would like to, the one thing I'd like to take back just to see what happened, is I had a chance to barrel roll with Ved into a focused range one shot on a Y wing.
Right.
It's into Ahsoka's bullseye.
So what's interesting about that is, I think you played that turn aside from maybe potentially doing that barrel roll. You nailed exactly what Daniel was going to do. The thing I was thinking about was, would you, rather than move Vermeil into the mess, I thought you might do a one bank boost into a sloop to be behind the mess. Which would have opened up some options for a future turn and not had all of your ships kind of there piled up. But you might not have had a shot on that turn because Daniel went very slow. What's that?
I tried to do that. The problem with that is Daniel
no. I mean before that. So the turn that you did the kind of one, you did a boost in and then a one forward into his Y wing. Rather than that, I was thinking about doing.
One bank.
What's that?
One bank. The one bank, one straight.
I was thinking about doing the one bank, one sloop, and basically be behind. You see the gas cloud that has Ahsoka's target lock on it. I think you would have been roughly you kind of parallel to it, but facing towards the center.
I think I make that sloop.
Not inwards, but outwards.
Outwards, yeah. I don't think I make it. Wasn't Ahsoka in there?
It's where. Let me see.
Ahsoka was about
let me
and a
move.
half base lengths behind.
This is about where Ahsoka was. I just moved Daniel's Y wing. So I'm talking about doing like a bank this way and then a sloop this way, and you're facing.
Oh, out. Yeah. I actually considered doing that, but the gun on the Reaper is so valuable.
It is.
If you get it in, and I knew that no matter what, if I went into the fight, I knew no matter what I would get a decent shot.
Yeah.
And it might be a modified shot,
right,
which would be even sweeter.
Yeah.
And if I go this, I did think about doing that, but if I go that route, I possibly don't have a decent shot.
Agree. That was my question: was would it end up with a shot? And Jeff, you were thinking about what's going to happen this turn, and you got all your guns on Y wings, and I think that was. I mean, your anticipation of the barrel roll block attempt from the Jedi Knight and being able to use Ved's, dial changing, like you expertly navigated what Daniel was going to do. Right, that was awesome. Like, I think Tommy and I were both kind of like, wow, look at this. He's got 4 shots on that Y wing, and then of course, Dice intervened a little bit.
I ended up only with 3 because I didn't barrel roll the
right, because Ved didn't end up with one.
But I didn't want to get into the Ahsoka's bullseye, and I'm just thinking maybe I just do it. Ahsoka had a shot on. Who'd she have a shot on anyway?
I think she ended up with a shot on Vermeil, and I think that's the shot.
She took a shot on Vermeil.
Yeah,
because
maybe she gives that up and she takes Ved out there. I honestly, Ved is great, but I'm just as happy with having Vermeil in the thick of things.
Right.
He's got a way to mod without that his jam can't affect.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
And then. Jeff, the other thing, if you barrel rolled to hit to the left, you also get in range 1, so I cannot fire a plasma torpedo.
Exactly.
And that plasma torpedo hit and did 1 free damage.
Yep.
If it was just a primary, it would just done just a shield.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah, I would like to take that back and see what happened. But other than that, I just didn't see a whole lot that I could do to get away from Chopper, and it was just I needed average dice. I needed a couple of natty strings, and the Y wings are both down, and I've still got ships left that I can start working on the Jedi with.
Yeah, that
Um,
your
did
advanced
one-
proton torpedo shot kind of just told the story of the game, right?
Yeah, it was like, but it's only single modded, but it's 5 dice. You kind of hope for 4 hits. It's I don't know. It's just like I kind of wanted to get the Jedi Knight first, sure, but that just wasn't after that engage where he took nothing, took literally nothing. It was just not, that wasn't going to happen. And at that point, getting the Y wings off the board and just trying to get ahead on points, and then just trying to live and take shots where I could get them.
Yep.
With my superior in it.
Yeah, no, I think that was the right way to go about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was also a little bit surprised that you went after the cluster bomb Y-wing instead of the torpedo one. I would have gone after the torpedo because the torpedo one also had an ion cannon turret.
So, yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, if you remember, Vermeil was up against my decision was sort of made for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I don't want to split my fire there. But the decision was made for me because Vermeil's up against one. He can't shoot that one, and I can concentrate some fire on it, and almost took it. But
what was your thought process for not firing the cluster missiles that round when you had the Y-wing at 2?
The other Y-wing was at range 3.
Yeah, and the Jedi Knight wasn't at range 1 of the other guy, Tommy. That was something that was mentioned.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we actually talked about it, and he was just barely at range 3. Yeah. It was frustrating because Jonas was at range 1. I've got the rerolls, and it was just like, yeah, that's the way it goes. He's a millimeter out of range.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely considered it.
Cool. Well, both Daniel and Jeff, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts about the game. I think it's one of my favorite things to do actually after me as a dipshit and whoever's with me in the booth as not a dipshit talk about the game is being able to compare notes with the players as to what their thought process was, because when you're in the game, your thought process is different than ours, right? We've got nothing on the line, so we can sort of think. What I found is we can think more clearly than players sometimes do.
It's just like at poker. It's when you're watching poker, the ability to know, obviously if you're paying attention, you can look at the cards because of the way poker is like now. But even aside from that, if you're actually just sweating a game in real life, your read on players on what's going on the table is a lot more clarity than when you're actually in the game.
Yep.
And it's definitely the case when you're in the booth there, because last night I was, other than the fact that the incredible vanishing debris, I mean, it's like I could really see what was going on, and it's different.
Yep. So thank you guys for playing such an entertaining game for us, and and Tommy, thanks for joining me in the booth. I'm not sure when we'll stream again, but hopefully at some point this weekend. So keep an eye on Militant Casual's Facebook page. Keep an eye on our YouTube channel. Smash that like and subscribe button, as the kids say these days. I think we're all probably going to head to bed now. And everybody have a great Saturday.
All right, you guys have a good weekend.
All right.
Good
Peace
night,
out, guys.
everybody.